The central argument of the Euthyphro is one of the most notoriously difficult and dizzying arguments in all of Plato. So, before I get started, I'd like you to stop the video and go read the passage beginning at line 9d and ending at line 11b. Then keep your book handy in case you need to refer back to it while I speak. So, go ahead and pause the video, and I'll be here when you get back. Welcome back. What I'm about to try to explain is what I like to call Euthyphro's paradox. It begins with Euthyphro's attempt to define piety as, quote, what all the gods love. Socrates shot down Euthyphro's previous suggestion that the pious is, quote, what the gods love, by pointing out that the gods often disagree, so that sometimes the same thing will end up being both pious and impious. Now we will consider whether the pious is that which all the gods agree to be just. Socrates asks, quote, is the pious loved by the gods because it is pious, or is it pious because it is loved by the gods? Ultimately, Socrates will show that piety is not at all the same as what the gods love, using several examples to make the point. To make things a little more clear, let's try thinking in terms of some synonyms related to the concept of piety that will hopefully make the relation between the subject and the object in the following arguments more clear. The pious we can also call a holy thing, a kind of object. The pious can also be used adjectively, meaning holy. And just to make things more concrete, and at the same time more general, we can just think of the loved by the gods as loved by someone, any sort of person or subject. So now the same question above reads, is the holy thing loved by someone because it is holy, or is the holy thing holy because someone loves it? Now consider the following relations between an acting subject and a passive object. When something is carried, it is different from the person carrying it. The thing led is different from the person leading. The thing seen is different from the one who sees, and so on. The question now is this: which is the cause of the other? Is someone carrying something because that something is being carried? That doesn't quite sound right. Something is being carried because someone is carrying it. The active person causes the passive object to be affected. The question in philosophical mumbo-jumbo speech might sound something like this. Is the thing X being X because it is the thing X? Or is the thing X being X because someone X's it? In the following examples, think of the arrow as meaning cause. So is it the thing led which causes being led? Or is being led the cause of the thing led? Or is the thing loved the cause of being loved? Or is being loved the cause of the thing being loved? Is the thing seen the cause of being seen? Or is being seen the cause of the thing seen? So again, which causes which? Is the affected thing being affected because it is an affected thing? Or is the affected thing being affected because someone is affecting it? At this point, I think we have to conclude that being loved by someone is the cause of something being loved. The further conclusion is that this is also true in the case of the gods and what they love. The object of love, the pious thing or the holy thing, is not the cause of the gods loving it, but vice versa. The pious is loved because the gods love it. To wrap up, let's look briefly at the passage we started with. Euthyphro thinks that the pious is what all the gods love. Socrates asks, do they love the pious because it is pious, or for some other reason, Euthyphro responds, all the gods love the pious precisely because it is pious. It is this last statement which we have been trying to disprove over the course of the refutation, and now we can restate the argument more simply. In the end, Euthyphro has said two things. First, the gods love the thing loved because it is holy. Second, the thing loved is loved because someone loves it. Which of these is true? They cannot both be true. Therefore, the holy thing cannot be the same thing as what is dear to the gods. Socrates has shown that the pious is not the same as what the gods love, namely, what is dear to the gods, as Euthyphro puts it. He even goes so far as to say that they are opposites. Socrates' position is something like this. If the pious were loved because of being pious, what is dear to the gods would also be loved because of being dear to the gods. On the other hand, if the dear to the gods were dear to the gods because of being loved by the gods, the pious would also be pious because of being loved. But the two are opposite. For the one, because it is loved, is the sort of thing to be loved, and the other, because it is the sort of thing to be loved, it's loved. What Socrates has effectively shown is the gods are divorced from the idea of piety, separated from divine justice itself, if we can call piety that. The gods do not determine what is pious or just. There is something independent from the gods by which the gods themselves can be judged. Thus Socrates posits something that's even higher than the gods. It is not hard to see that such a claim could be construed as impious, and get Socrates into a lot of trouble with those seeking to maintain established values grounded in traditional religion. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope you're now as confused as I am, and I look forward to discussing this further with you on the discussion boards.